Donald Glover is universally recognized as one of the most talented creators in this era. His creativity and skill seem to know no limits, spanning from music production, acting in movies and TV shows, writing for Hollywood productions, and more. One of his areas of talent that is quickly fading into the background is his rap career. Childish Gambino was how I and many others first came across his work, but now he seems to have laid that name to rest, and everything is just Donald Glover now. So why the switch? Why, after making the hit Redbone and almost literally lighting the world on fire with This Is America, why would Donald Glover be done with his music career? What happened to Childish Gambino? If you don't care to hear about Gambino's beginnings and how it ties into the later portion of his career, feel free to skip ahead to this time code. Donald Glover Jr. was born on September 25th, 1983 on the Edwards Air Force Base in California. However, he and his two other siblings were raised in Stone Mountain, Georgia. He went to Lakeside High School and the Cobb School of the Arts, and after graduating, he attended NYU's Tisch School of the Arts. He majored in dramatic writing. Donald Glover did not come from a background in music. He came from a background in drama and writing. It was something that he had a strong interest in, and while he was in college, decided to produce his own mixtape, The Younger I Get. This mixtape is almost impossible to find because Glover disowned it due to its too raw ramblings, but this was a way for him to get his feet wet in the world of music production. He obviously took a liking to it because he also began DJing and producing electronic music as well. During his last year of college, he was able to land a job as a writer on NBC's 30 Rock, after he was handpicked by Tina Fey for one of the scripts he had sent in. He was a 23-year-old college student working on one of the most popular shows on TV at the time. Glover continued working on 30 Rock for 3 seasons before he landed an acting role on the show Community. He played Troy Barnes, which was a ex-high school jock. In the meantime, Glover was still working on music behind the scenes. He used the Wu-Tang name generator to come up with his stage name, Childish Gambino. Around this time, he was really able to get his rap career off the ground and was making mixtapes that he actually wanted to release. Him working on his rap career did not contain the intention of replacing his acting career. He highly enjoyed it, but acting was still his main job and his #1 passion. Creating music was a hobby that he was continuously working on so he could produce better and better music. Glover did not stay on Community for long. He left after appearing on just a few episodes before finding his character unnecessary to the show. He wanted to work on something independently, something that he could have full control over, and music was the perfect opportunity for that. Childish Gambino released several mixtapes in the early 2010s. A lot of it was very underground and didn't get much love from the public. What did stand out from his early music was most definitely his self-made production. His flow and lyrics weren't the best with the first few mixtapes, but he progressed quickly. It wasn't until 2012 when I first heard him with his Royalty mixtape. I thought it was okay, but what stood out the most to me was his wordplay and the fact that he had produced almost every single song on the mixtape. He reminded me of an underground Kanye 2.0 at the time. Keep in mind, I had no idea he was an actor. In December of 2013, he released his second studio album, Because the Internet. It was by far the best thing he had created at that point in time. It was of course primarily produced by himself. It most notably featured Chance the Rapper, Azalea Banks, and Jhené Aiko. The hit song was 3005, and for many people was their introduction to Childish Gambino. Because the Internet went gold and earned Gambino his first Grammy nominations for Best Rap Album and Best Rap Performance for 3005. All the while, he was in the background working on the hit show Atlanta for FX. Atlanta featured Glover as an actor, writer, and executive producer. He wanted to go with FX because they were willing to work around everything he had going on with his music. Atlanta was one of the first shows that had an all-black writing staff and ended up winning Donald Glover the Emmy for Outstanding Directing for a Comedy Series. It was the first time ever that Emmy was awarded to an African American. In 2014, he released the EP Kawaii. It came in just under 30 minutes long with 7 tracks and the hit song being the opener, Sober. It's one of my favorite projects he's created. Over the next couple of years, we really started to see Donald Glover take off. In 2015, he had roles in several movies, with the most notable arguably being The Martian, which featured Matt Damon as the lead. He also had roles in The Lazarus Effect and Magic Mike XXL. Later that year, FX officially announced that Glover's new show, Atlanta, would be premiering in the fall of 2016. As he was making these huge strides on the big screen, he was also making huge strides with his music in the background. Someone that can't go without mentioning is Ludwig Göransson. Ludwig was born and raised in Sweden and ended up meeting Donald while both were working on Community in 2010. Glover gets the credit for most of the production of his music, but the other person listed on just about everything is Ludwig. Ludwig ended up being an outstanding composer. He later composed scores for Disney's Black Panther and The Mandalorian. You could say that Göransson is just as important to Gambino's musical success as Gambino himself, which was definitely the case for the next project that the two were working on. On October 25th, 2016, the 9th episode of Atlanta premiered, and there was a brief shot on the show that displayed what would end up being the cover of Childish Gambino's third studio album. Awaken, My Love was released less than 2 months later on December 2nd, 2016. The album was 48 minutes and 57 seconds long and contained 11 tracks that were almost all primarily produced by Gambino and Göransson. Awaken, My Love was completely different from anything Gambino had created in the past. It wasn't hip-hop or rap at all. It was a R&B funkadelic album. This was my and many others' favorite album that Childish Gambino had created. The hit song was Redbone, which was released as a single almost a month before the album. It was the biggest song of Gambino's career at the time, peaking at the number 12 spot on the Billboard Hot 100 chart in 2017. It was even used to open Jordan Peele's hit movie Get Out. Awaken, My Love became a timeless work of art for Gambino that earned him a Grammy nomination for the Album of the Year and Best Urban Contemporary Album. All the while, Atlanta was given the green light for its second season, but the production had to be put on pause because of Glover's busy schedule. In 2017, he was also involved in the shooting of Solo, a Star Wars story. He had a small role in Spider-Man: Homecoming and was about to have his second child. Donald Glover is a busy man. And in the summer of 2018, he released the biggest song of his career, This Is America. This Is America was essentially Gambino's colorful take on the political and racial climate in America at that time and is, go figure, still just as relevant today. The music video dropped simultaneously with the song and it immediately went viral. It was extremely graphic, displaying gun violence through shootings, how Jim Crow is still very much alive today with its imagery, and many more not so subtle messages. This Is America was a massive hit, causing a cultural splash in the summer of 2018. Remember folks, at the time, D-Trump was well into his presidency and the Kanye slavery was a choice thing was just 24 hours behind us. You couldn't have found a better time than right then and there to release that song. It debuted at number 1 on the Billboard 100 chart, taking the place of Drake's Nice for What for 2 weeks. The song had over 65.3 million streams in its first week. Today, the music video has over 770 million views on YouTube, and the song ended up winning 4 Grammys. Leading up to This Is America, and especially after it, music from Childish Gambino hit a drastic slowdown. There isn't some big downfall or misstep when it comes to Donald Glover. After This Is America, he stated that his next album would be his last album. That album turned out to be 3:15:20, which was a pretty big abstract mess. So I guess if you wanted to say Glover has had a misstep, you could point to that album. The reason we aren't getting any new music from Childish Gambino is actually one of my favorite reasons why a creator stopped creating something ever. In 2017, he did an interview with the Daily 411 where he explained why he was putting Childish Gambino to rest.
I believe in endings. It's like, if you're not making the product that you set out to do, why are you doing it anymore?
It's the old Dark Knight saying, you either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain. Essentially, all good things must come to an end. Donald Glover has already musically accomplished everything he wanted to with Childish Gambino, so why try and drag it out? But that's not exactly the case. At the tail end of 2020, he tweeted that he is actually working on a new Childish Gambino album, and it's his biggest project yet. And just a few days ago, he tweeted that he's writing a brand new movie trilogy. So what does this all tell us? It tells us that Donald Glover is in a world of his own. You truly cannot put him into any one category of anything. I don't want to say we shouldn't take his word, more so, you can't stop a creative mind from creating. Even after this next album releases and he says that's actually it, I can't see him going the rest of his life without creating more music, at least in some capacity. The same goes for his movies and TV shows. He may hit a point where he says he's done with it, but I couldn't see him sticking to that in the long run. All this is great for us because we continuously are able to enjoy his work moving forward. I'm sure he'll eventually drop the Childish Gambino moniker and just release everything under his actual name to keep things simple. But that part is just the ancillary details. Donald Glover does seem to get a pass when it comes to not getting anything from him for a while, primarily because most of us understand and respect the fact that he works in so many different areas of the entertainment industry. And great albums and movies take time, and sometimes you just gotta let a creator create. Feel free to leave a comment below with who you'd like to see featured in the next What Happened To video. And while you're at it, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe so you can see all of my upcoming videos and live streams, vote on future videos, and keep up with my upcoming Galactic Grizzly clothing line. If you enjoy these What Happened To videos, I've got an entire playlist full of other artists, actors, and even a theme park. Thanks for sticking around until the end of the video. I'll talk to you all in the next one. Peace.